say before I talk about these two movies, it's weird how sometimes I pick movies that have common motifs and themes, and it's not usually intentional. And in this case, it was not intentional. But I watched two horror vengeance movies called
Okay.
Revenge, which I knew was a vengeance movie, obviously,
Yes.
and Mandy.
And I have seen one of those.
Oh, you have?
I have.
Which one?
Revenge.
Okay, very good. That's awesome.
I thought it was a great movie. I mean, as far as that whole genre of I Spit on Your Grave, vengeance, female empowerment vengeance movies, it's awesome.
It is. Both movies are visually striking, but both movies have the obvious logic problems of these kind of movies. No way that would happen. There's no way she's going to, or, that kind of thing. So you have to give them that suspension of disbelief.
Right.
But as far as direction, these movies have really interesting directors. Mandy could be considered a little slow, but it still draws you in and is captivating, even though Nicolas Cage is the lead in it.
Oh my gosh.
He actually got a lot of strong reviews for this movie, and it's directed by some guy named Cosmatos,
I think is his last name. I remember him. He's from, what did he do?
You're thinking of his dad, I think.
Oh, okay.
This is by Panos Cosmatos, but his dad was George Cosmatos that did a lot of Sylvester Stallone movies in the 80s, including Cobra, and he also directed Tombstone, which is probably what I would consider his best. Obviously, the common theme is vengeance. In Mandy, Nicolas Cage and his wife are this very low-key couple that have a cabin, and she gets kidnapped by this crazy-ass cult that literally burns her alive in front of him. So this is a vengeance movie. And there's like elements of Charles Manson. There's tons of elements of Pink Floyd because the leader is like a failed singer that's kind of Syd Barrett. And that's where the other motif comes in, which is psychedelics. There's lots of drugs and psychedelic trippy shit in Mandy. And in Revenge, when she removes the thing that's stuck in her, she ends up on peyote and having her own strange trip as well. So they're both like, I don't know, hallucinogenic revenge movies, for lack of a better word.
But I wouldn't say hallucinogenic is a major factor in Revenge. I think it's part of that sequence, that plot thread of this could never happen. No way she could, cauterize half of her torso and live.
She couldn't have run around with that stick in her body. I mean, she was impaled on a tree, basically.
Yes.
And she's still running around, I'm not going to pull the stick out yet until I'm on my peyote, and then I can handle it.
Right. And you're like, probably not.
Yeah, it's a great vengeance movie. Just 4 characters.
Oh, yeah.
Movie.
I love the filming of it. And I have to say, from what I remember, that climax kind of surprised me because it is just like blood drenched in that house of them going around and around.
I've never seen so
house.
much blood in a movie. One other thing I was going to say is that one of the descriptions I read of Mandy kind of hits it on the head. It said it's David Lynch meets Hellraiser meets Rob Zombie. And I was like, okay, yeah, I kind of see that. There's a demonic motorcycle gang in it that's all fucked up and gnarly looking because they've been on some kind of crazy acid. And so it's kind of like a Cenobite kind of thing.
Okay.
But to me, a lot of it reminded me of, for some reason, Syd Barrett, because the cult leader is very charismatic, but you just want to kill him. I mean, he's such an asshole. So anyway, that's what I've been doing. Revenge hallucinogens.
Revenge hallucinogens, yes.
You can't Start the car, Johnny has the keys.